So this international event set the stage for Canada's finally big comeback at the Worlds. Although they finished fourth place in '77 and should have won bronze, in '78 they fought hard in Czechoslovakia, the defending champion. And despite the fact the Soviet Union had a very good squad, so did Sweden, Czechoslovakia, they could have finished second but finished a strong third. Now the '78 Ice Hockey Worlds took place in Prague from April 26th to May 14th. Held at the Sportovina Hala CSTV, the capital city, was the sixth time the Czechs hosted the title event. 8 teams took part, with each team playing each other in the first round, and then the 4 best teams meeting in a new round. This was the 45th Worlds, and also the 56th European title decider. The USSR won for the 15th time, narrowly defeating the hosts. Now, on the final day, there was essentially a gold medal game and a bronze medal game. The Soviets played the Czechs and needed to win by at least 2 to take the title. They took a 3-0 lead and hung on to win by 2, capturing gold by being even head-to-head with the Czechs, but having cumulative 2-goal advantage against everyone else. Canada-Sweden came in the final game even, so the winner would claim the bronze. Pat Hickey scored with a minute left in the game to give Canada a 3-2 victory and the bronze. Now, because of the allowance of professionals in the NHL into a tournament, a peculiar new situation arose during this year's tournament. The Minnesota North Star has players representing Canada, 2, Sweden 3, and the States 4. So almost half the team played at the Worlds. Now, in the round robin, Czechoslovakia went 7-0. Soviet Union went 6-0-1. Canada went 4-0-3. Sweden was 4-3, with West Germany, United States, East Germany, and Finland each only get 1 or 2 victories. Now, for Canada, they lost to Finland in the opening game 6-4, but knocked off East Germany 6-2 the second contest. They again knocked off the Americans like they did the year before, 7-2 against the States, and then a 6-2 victory against West Germany. Now, against Sweden, their offense really hit. A lot of good players there, Pronovo and Unger and Everbill, 7-5, and lost a 4-2 decision to Soviets, which was better than the year before because they lost 8-1 and 11-1. Now, in the final robin, 1-4, the Soviets knocked off Canada 5-1. The Czechs knocked off the Swedes 6-1. The Czechs knocked off Canada 3-2. The Soviet Union knocked off Sweden 7-1, while Canada bet Sweden 3-2 again, breaking a 2-2 tie to goal by Hickey. Now the Soviet Union won 3-1, leading 2-0 after the second and 3-1 victory. Now, consolation 5th place, East Germany was relegated. I think that's the last time that East Germany was in the tournament, and the States finished an impressive 6th. So Canada finished with a 5-0-5 record. Now, at the World Championships, Group B in Yugoslavia, Poland was promoted to Group A, and Italy and Yugoslavia was relegated to Group C. Japan had a very impressive tournament, 5-1-1, almost made the Worlds that year. Switzerland 4-1-2, Romania 3-1-3, Hungary 3-0-4, Norway 2-1-4, and Italy 1-1-5, and Yugoslavia 1-0-6. Now in the C tournament, the Netherlands 6-1, promoted to Group B. Austria 5-1-1. Denmark, Canada's beaters this year, 4-1-2. China 4-0-3. Bulgaria 3-1-3. France 3-0-4. Spain 1-0-6. And Belgium 0-7. Now the Netherlands and Austria were both promoted to Group B. China and Denmark also ended up being promoted to alleviate a political situation between the Chinese and South Koreans, and to address the IWHF missing to Austria should have been disqualified from using illegal player Pentti Heinetingen. Say that fast. Now, final standings again, Soviets first, Czechs second, Canada third, Sweden fourth, West Germany fifth, States sixth, Finland 7, and East Germany relegated. But ironically, ladies and gentlemen, under the bizarre standings, Finland finished behind East Germany in the European Championships, but at the Worlds, East Germany was behind Finland. Now, best of players selected by the Directorate: Yuri Holacek, best goalie; Vladislav Fedisov, best defenseman; Marcel Dionne, best forward; the Media All-Star team, goaltender Yuri Holacek; defense Yuri Bubla and Vladislav Fedisov; and the forwards Ivan Halinka, Sergei Kapustin, and Alexander Maltsev. Now, this was the year of the big USSR big comeback. But ironically, ladies and gentlemen, this was the tournament where Team Canada probably had one of their better squads. Goalies on the team was Dan Bouchard, who was playing with Atlanta Flames at the time, and Denis Haon from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Actually, he would end up in Quebec a couple of years later, Haron in Montreal, and Bouchard with the Nords. On defense, Brad Maxwell, Robert Picard, Dave Sheahan, Dennis Kearns, making a return trip from 77, Ricky Hampton, and of course the great underrated Pat Ribble. Very, very young on defense. Kearns was 32. Everybody else was ages 20 to 24. But this offense, ladies and gentlemen, tremendous. You had some 50-goal scorers, some scoring leaders. Marcel Dionne, because the Kings didn't make the second round. Donnie Lever, Vancouver. Dennis Maruk. Will Paymont, the Goon, back for another year. Pat Hickey, who scored the winner. Mike Murphy of the Kings. Jean Ponnavaux for the Penguins. LaRouche had already been, I think, traded by then. Very underrated Glenn Sharpley. Bobby McMillan, Tom Lysiak. Guy Chanron, who only played 2 games the year before, and the very underrated Gary Unger. So a very, very young team. Glenn Sharpley at the time was 21. Maruk and Paymont were 22. Lever was 25. Gary Unger was pretty well the veteran of the bunch. And Ponnavaux, I think this was his 11 season in Major Pro. Now, highlights of this are available. CTV did an okay job with the coverage. The biggest problem they had the year before, I think most of the games in Austria were in the afternoon. And same thing here. They were showing, now, ironically, ladies and gentlemen, the World Championships back then were very high scoring. I'll tell you why. Now, this took almost 3 weeks to play. There were 322 goals scored in the 40 games in the A Division, 0.5 per game. And the tournament attendance was quite strong, more than 9,000 fans. Now, Eric Kunchiniaki of the German squad led the all-scoring leaders with 16 points. And like I said, this is Soviet Union's 15 overall title. Czechoslovakia, a lot of people thought Czechoslovakia was going to have the team to win, but it didn't play out. Now, the states there, like I said, we talk about the Minnesota contingent. This was getting the rise of the U.S. national program, which led to Miracle on Ice in 1980. They were taking mostly NHL players for the Worlds, but when it came to Miracle on Ice, they went the college route. I don't think the USSR were ready for the college game, because the college game, it wasn't as dirty as the NHLers. So this maybe kind of spoiled them. They had the states were slim pickings in 78, but by 1980, like I said, the college approach worked. So that's the story of the 1978 World Championships, when we won a very well-deserved bronze with our beautiful new jerseys. If you like what you're doing here with our Team Canada podcast on Sports File, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.